Hello, all, and welcome to All Red. Bobby Clark is away on a permanent deal. What do you think? This is the channel that is all Liverpool all the time. It's all red. Hit that like button, drop a comment below. We've got our London Red resident, Aaron, back on the show today to discuss Bobby Clark on a permanent deal away for around £10 million. Aaron, I'm just gonna open it up to you. What are your initial thoughts on this deal?
I think it's a good deal for Bobby Clark. I think he goes away and he gets first team experience. Very surprised. I've seen good things from Bobby Clark. I think he's solid in central midfield.
Yeah.
Maybe not favoured at Liverpool because of the types of player we have, and Soboslai and McAllister. I think it's premature. That's my opinion. He's still a young lad, and I think he has a loan would have been great for him, playing first team football under a loan and potentially coming back a much better player. I think would have been a really good option, and I would have liked to have seen more from Bobby Clark. I have seen Liverpool have put a sell-on clause for him of 17.5%.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm a little bit concerned. I'm a bit worried about the future of the young players as well. With a lot of the news that's coming out from Liverpool, the likes of Ben Doak and Bajcetic and Tyler Morton, etc. I mean, trying to sell these guys is not good, I don't think.
Yeah, I was shocked as well. I thought Bobby Clark was one of our most promising last season when he was able to come in the Carabao Cup final, and we saw him several times last season, and I thought he was good. I thought it was interesting this preseason. It seemed like Trey Nyoni got more of a nod ahead of him, and he's 2 years younger. And so I just, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. We don't know, when Slot comes in and Richard Hughes comes in and they say, hey, we're going to assess the entire program. Well, a lot of people are saying, well, you didn't know who you had already? You didn't know about the players already? You can watch film and you can see skill. But until you get in there and you assess attitude, you assess drive, you assess all of these different things, you don't really know what you have. And I'm not defending the fact that they've made literally zero signings so far, but you just wonder, I don't think they would come in and say, Bobby Clark is a very promising young kid. He's going to be very good. We're going to sell him for £10 million. I don't think that makes sense, no matter who you are, unless they've just completely missed, all of his skill and talent. But it just seems like there's something there that they said that this guy's just not going to make it. He's not going to cut it. And now is the time to let him go. And we don't know what that is. We don't know if it was Bobby Clark himself saying, I need out, I want to leave. Or if it was Slot coming in and saying, hey, he's a good lad. I know he's kind of grown up through the academy, but there's just no future here. So we don't know. I trust the data, I think. I mean, the approach now is far less emotional. It's more data driven. And so there must have been something in the data that said Bobby Clark is not going to make it. At the same time, I agree with you, Aaron. 19 years old seems a bit young to say we're cutting him loose. He's not good enough. And I have similar concerns. I really like Ben Doak. I really like Stefan Bajcetic. And I'm hoping that, we keep some of these young players that we saw last year come in and make a big impact against some of the top clubs in England. So I think there's a plan. I think there's a master plan. What that plan is, we don't really know yet. I have theories, Aaron, on the transfer strategy this summer that some people probably won't like. But what do you think of some of these other rumors? Ben Doak rumored to be sold on a permanent deal. Stefan Bajcetic not rumored to be sold, but maybe loaned out. Maybe not now if if we don't actually bring in another midfielder. What are your thoughts on some of these rumors?
I just think with Ben Doak, we'll start on Ben Doak for a second. I think he's got a lot of quality there.
Yeah.
He just needs a bit of fine tuning. He's a little bit like Nunes, but 7 years younger.
Yeah.
I think he's very raw. He's got a lot of ability, and he can beat a man. Probably as good as anyone in the club. He can beat a man. It's just his end product that I've been a bit concerned with. But he is young. I remember I mentioned to you before Aaron Lennon when he was first at Tottenham Hotspurs. I mean, his final ball, his end product was really, really poor, but he had this electric pace. And once he started to learn how to get assists and score goals, I mean, the player that he turned into, I could see the same sort of trajectory for Ben Doak as well. I could see him, if he can fine tune his game, imagine just having Ben Doak on the right side and this new kid, this Ria Namoa, from Chelsea, this left winger who looks incredible, is 15 years old, coming up 16. That's potential talent there for the next 15 years as a winger at the club, and we're talking serious players. My concern is for Bobby Clark. I think maybe the emergence of Trey Nyoni has probably, maybe brought Bobby Clark's sort of tenure at the club to an end.
Yeah.
Trey Nyoni's exceptional. This guy's going to be an amazing player in the future, and this guy's a certain starter.
Yeah.
Maybe in games this season, but for sure he'll be looked at for next season.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Trey Nyoni, and we knew he was quality. We didn't get to see a ton of him last season, but the word on the street was that Trey Nyoni was the real deal. And as a 17-year-old to come in this preseason and do what he's done, it just speaks loads of quality. And I think the leadership of the club sees that clearly. I do expect Trey Nyoni to see first team football this season, and how incredible that would be as a 17-year-old. We're talking, Harvey Elliott styles of youth coming into the team. And that's another thing is, like, you look at a player like Harvey Elliott, and he's 21, and 2 years ahead of Bobby Clark, and he's already got over 100 caps for the team. So you see the disparity there of where, and Harvey Elliott probably a special case, but it just seems like, Bobby Clark was able to come in when we needed him last season, but still hasn't really warranted breaking into that first team. Look at Connor Bradley. Connor Bradley came in because we needed him last season, and instantly made it impossible for Klopp to say, all right, back to the academy for you. Same thing with Gerald Kwanzaa. Those two came in last season, and they weren't just duct tape over a hole. It was like, whoa, these guys are ready, and they are ready. They are stalwarts in the first team. We cannot send them back to the academy. They're too good. That clearly didn't happen with Bobby Clark, and I think he's a good player, obviously, and he will get to go and play. Probably maybe not this year, but in the next year or two. Solid first team football for a good team that has a track record of developing young talent. So I think it'll be fun to watch him grow. And if I was in charge, I wouldn't have thought that we would sell Bobby Clark. But hey, it's a good thing I'm not in charge. I don't think we'd be in a good spot. So
I have a take on this. For me, if you're selling the likes of a Bobby Clark and a Ben Doak, part of me is thinking, well, they must have a plan. There must be someone out there they see can come in and do a better job than what Ben Doak can do, after Salah leaves, let's say. That's if he doesn't sign a contract extension. I'd like to think that FSG have a plan, but unfortunately we've been surprised on many occasions. So it's hard to see what they're doing. I like some of the kids. Bobby Clark is solid, very strong in the challenge. But I think maybe, and Liverpool may see it as well. I'm not too sure what type of midfielder he is.
Right.
Is he defensive? Is he attacking? Or is he just kind of a bit of a box-to-box Jordan Henderson type midfielder?
Yeah.
And maybe they don't see that they need that. Maybe they look at a baller, a Gravenberch who has really silky, balling ability, but can take the ball on the strides, can turn with the ball. Henderson was a workhorse. Milner was a workhorse.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a direction that Liverpool are steering away from. Maybe they are saying specifically, we need someone that can control a game. And specifically, we need attacking midfielders. We don't need that in-between guy anymore.
Right.
And maybe that's a reason that maybe Bobby Clark has been moved on.
Yeah, and you look at some of the other youth players. Luis Kumas, for example, given a long-term contract and sent out on loan. I think that's a great deal of business for the club and for him.
Agree.
So it's not like they're just coming in and saying, we're getting rid of everybody. We don't care. We got to get rid of all this old stuff that Klopp built. They're not doing that. I think they're making wise decisions. But like you said, we have yet to see what the strategy is. I think there is a strategy there. I think, Edwards and Hughes are just too smart to not have one. But I can understand why there's a lot of fans that are like, what is going on? So we'll leave it at that. Drop your comments below. Would love to know what you think of Bobby Clark being sold and the rest of this really non-existent transfer market for Liverpool this summer. Get your comments in below. And as always, up the Reds.
Yeah, of course.